Welcome everybody to Dragon Quest FM, where we talk about and obsess over Dragon Quest. I'm Austin. Welcome everyone to Dragon Quest FM, where we talk about and obsess over Dragon Quest. I'm Austin,
I'm BJ.
and this week we're going to talk a little bit about Dragon Quest 12.
Yeah.
Now, DQ12 is a game we all really want,
Yep.
and we're all really excited for,
And know zero things about it.
and know pretty much zero. We know the name of it. We know it's called the Flames of Fate.
Yeah. Yeah. We
We
know
know
we know what the
we,
logo looks like, so I guess we do know a couple of things about it.
Although they did update the logo at one point, so
It's
maybe this
true.
isn't the logo we end up with. It's going to
That
look completely different.
that is
Who
very
knows?
true, so we might not even know that.
Maybe it's not even called the Flames of Fate anymore. Maybe who knows? When it's finally announced, it's going to be something totally different.
I wouldn't doubt that at all, given the complete radio silence that we've had since then, that it has completely changed course over from where it was.
It's like a weird situation, but people are excited for it, and we get a ton of questions about Dragon Quest 12. Just personally, but also like I feel like as a podcast,
Yeah.
like we'll get DMs, we'll get comments under certain things, just asking like our opinions on
Yep.
DQ12 or like what we think of like this idea and stuff like that, which is really cool that people like share that stuff. But
Yeah.
um because we don't know too much, there hasn't been a lot we can ever say about DQ12, and we don't want to like I guess like beat a dead horse with speculation
And
either.
I don't want to be one of those people because we do have a DQ podcast that if it ever gets out something that we said taken as a leak on something that we hoped, because we have absolutely no kind of inside information. And I would hate to hear somebody be like, "Oh, they said this," and it's like, "Oh no, 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 no. I am no one to listen to." Uh, so that's one other thing that I've thought about too.
Yeah. So anyway, one question that we get about DQ12 a lot, and just kind of talk about amongst ourselves sometimes, is if it's going to be open world and should it be open world,
Yep,
right?
hear that one a ton. The open world thing is one of the main ones that I see as a discussion, and I want to know your place on it before I say anything.
Um, I my answer changes, and this is fine. Okay, if you had asked me this question back in like 2021, I
Hmm.
guess, when the game was first announced, I would have been like, oh yeah, open world Dragon Quest game. That sounds really cool. This side of like Tears of the Kingdom, Final Fantasy Rebirth, like just open world after open world after open world game we've gotten. Like I'm personally a little burned out on open world
Yep.
games, and I don't know and it could just be a me problem. Like I'm burned out on open world games, and I have a very busy life. I have like three kids that I have to like zip around for and do things for. I have like a job that keeps me really busy. It's just like I don't have as much time to play massive open world games
Yeah.
anymore. Like I played like Xenoblade Chronicles X, right? Open world. Played it on Switch, love it. I still have not beaten it. I've still been playing it. I still
Oh,
haven't beaten it. And old Austin could have beaten that game in a month easy, probably
no
even a
problem
couple
whatsoever.
couple of weeks. Yeah. Current Austin is just like so busy all the time. I have to chip away at it a little bit at a time. And
Yep.
it's like, it's a great game. It's just I don't have as much time for it. And so I think that question about like should it be open world or not
Yeah.
is a me problem, because I definitely would have said yes 4 years ago. Now I'm like, I don't think I really want a massive like open
Mm-mm.
world game with a lot of like busy work.
No, I'm the same way where Rebirth kind of burned me out on just the idea. Rebirth, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the game that made me realize that maybe I wasn't in the mood for open world games anymore. That I guess I should say that because it wasn't like that it burned me out on them. It's that when I got to the open world, I was overwhelmed and the number of things that were there to do, I didn't care about. Like that was a big part of it for me was that I didn't care that much about any of the stuff, and I was getting really frustrated, I guess, at necessary I don't even want to say necessary evil is what I was about to say, because it's not a necessary evil of unlocking towers. Those frustrate me. It was unique to me in Breath of the Wild because I had never played through one of the Ubisoft open world games like Assassin's Creed or anything where they opened up the maps through the towers like that. And it was new, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is cool, whatever." And then now I'm just like, I don't want to do that in a Dragon Quest game. I would much rather have a tight, cohesive story than the ability to fully roam around and explore.
Yeah, it was one of those things. My thing with towers, I've kind of soured on them as well. Like I think probably the first game I can remember doing that with is like the Batman Arkham games.
Mm. Oh yeah, yeah. I forgot that you actually did that because it wasn't.
Way
Yeah,
back. Yeah.
yeah. Gosh,
And and then like I think the first Spider-Man game had come
the
out, like the
Spider-Man
first like
games did it. Yeah.
Insomniac Spider-Man. So by the time Breath of the Wild came out, it was kind of like that whole thing. I was like, yeah, this is what you do.
Hmm.
And then since then, it's just become such like a standard for every open world game, but also it feels like because it used to just be like find this location and interact with it and you
Yeah.
unlock it. But then I feel like at some point games had to be like, oh, okay, we have to like mix it up. And so they have just created a lot of busy work.
Right.
And now it's like, with like Tears of the Kingdom, it was like you had to solve like different puzzles and do different things just to like unlock the tower. And it
Mm.
was like some of them were really fun and wacky. Some of them I was just kind of like, I'll come back to this later.
Right.
But like I think for me, I'm fine with it. I guess maybe I'm just lazy now too. Like if it is open world, like I'm fine with the whole like walking there, interacting with like the radio tower or whatever
Whatever
it
it
is,
is.
and then it like unlocks that zone, and then I just go about my business. Like that's totally fine. Uh,
Yeah.
fine for me. I don't mind like I've been playing Lego Lord of the Rings with my
Mm.
kids a lot,
Right.
and that's for most intents and purposes, it's open world once you get through like the levels. I mean, it's open. You can walk from the Shire to Mount Doom, like if you want to. But there's like statues you find, and you just interact with the statue. You press circle, you interact with them, and then it drops down everything in that area. Bless you. He sneezed for those of you who aren't watching.
I
He
muted it
muted
though.
he muted it, but he sneezed. Um, bless you. So anyway, they like you just interact with that statue and it drops in like the bricks you need, the characters, the side quests, like all of that in the area. But it's like really easy. It's not inconvenient at all.
Right.
It's just like that's the kind of thing that I'm like completely fine with.
I don't know. It's just something about, and I guess it depends on whether or not I care about having the map unlocked, or if like I'm gonna explore or whatever. Like the Spider-Man games, it never even felt like I was unlocking towers like I did because I was just engaged with the story, and then whatever exploration I did was, I was gonna do that anyway. And then but with RPGs, it really feels like I'm going and I want to explore these places, and there's something in my way from it. That it always seemed like in Spider-Man it was done, and I just did it as part of the main narrative. But in RPGs, it tends to feel like, oh, you have to go out of your way to do this in order to unlock all of this other stuff. And that's the part I don't like. I don't like gated content, I guess. That's what it goes back to again. Things that I have to do in order to unlock the rest of the content.
Yeah. I I got really burned out, I think, on open world games recently, just between like FF7 Rebirth
Hmm.
and then like Star Wars Outlaws
Oh
and
yeah.
like Hogwarts Legacy, even like games that some that I played for fun, some that I had to play for work, but it was just kind of like one open world
Hmm.
game after the other. And every time a game gets announced as like open world, I'm kind of like, really? And get a little like, I don't know, I just feel tired all every time an open world game gets announced, my reaction is not yay or nay. It's just feeling tired. Like that's my reaction every time now. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so exhausted.
Just wait until
And
GTA 6 because of the amount that you're going to have to play it because of work.
oh yeah, I'm sure. And so like I've really tried to kind of like uh like not play so many open world games lately,
Yeah.
unless it's just something I really, really care about because of how kind of like burned out I got on it. So
Yeah.
like for DQ12, like I know that a lot of people would probably want an open world game. I think that an open world game would probably bring in a new audience to a certain
It
extent,
might.
especially Western audience. But my sweet spot is always going to be like DQ11 is pretty good where it has kind of like some bigger zones, but it's
Yeah.
still fairly linear. Tales of Arise did that
Hmm.
really well, and I love Tales of Arise. Did you play the new Legends of Visions
No.
of Mana? That's what it was. Visions of Mana.
No, I want to play Visions of Mana. The last one I played was Trials of Mana.
Okay. Visions of Mana is like that too, where like you go in and there's like these like pretty big zones
Yeah.
and there's like syrup to find, and every time you collect it, he's like, got some syrup, got some syrup. Um and we laugh about it because we're like, hey, he's saying syrup like he's from Tennessee. And uh, anyway, there's like things like that, but then there's also like some tough enemies in those zones that like you have to commit to memory and be like, oh, I'm definitely gonna have to progress, or like
Yeah.
you have to unlock a different like job and then come back to it later. And Tales of Arise did that. Dragon Quest 11 did that with like treasure chests and
Yeah.
certain things, where it's like that's the sweet spot for me, where
It is.
it's not FF10 where like you're just walking in a straight line and like having combat and then there's like cutscenes, but
Yeah.
it's also not like the sprawling Breath of the Wild world either, where it's kind of like just the perfect middle ground. And that's really where I would like Dragon Quest 12 to be,
Yeah.
even though I suspect that's not going to be a popular answer.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it has large zones that I can explore and that there are hidden stuff in those and that I can go back and forth between, but I don't want it to be a big open world with Skyrim style side quests everywhere and where I feel the need to go in every hidey hole and explore it like I do in an Elder Scrolls game. I'm hoping for more of a DQ11 experience with really big explorable exploration yeah explorable environments.
And I will say that the open world burnout does not really extend to like Fallout, Elder Scrolls. Like I
Mm.
played and loved Oblivion Remastered, and
Hmm.
I think it's because it doesn't feel like busy work. It doesn't have it doesn't have specific towers you have to go through and like
Right.
interact with. Like Oblivion Remastered, it's like you can just straight up teleport to any of the towns. You know, you
Oh.
can the main quest is actually really short. So it's like if you don't want to do the extra stuff, you don't really have to, but there
Yeah.
is this really nice giant open world to explore. And I think maybe that's why I don't get burned out on them so much. I also
Yeah.
think for some reason them being in first person um does something to my brain where it just
Hmm.
doesn't feel I don't equate like you bringing those games up. I was like, "Oh yeah, like those don't bug me as much." Like I know they're open world RPGs, but for whatever reason, I just almost think of them as like separate.
Hmm. I tried to catch up on Fallout 4 fairly recently, and I was playing Fallout 76 with some friends, and even that got to the point where I was Fallout 4 specifically, it was just too much. There was just too much to do in it, and I haven't gone back and played Skyrim in forever and a day because of just the idea of knowing how big everything is and how open everything is. But yeah, those get me, and I like them. That's the thing. Like when I end up playing them and I'm in the mood for that, I like them. But it has to be I have to be in the mood for that to be able to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And where games like DQ3 or DQ11 that have places to explore, but then you move into a different area where you're not necessarily unlocking it, you're moving through the story. That's what I prefer, and maybe it's just because of those are the kind of games that I've always liked. Because I don't think about like Final Fantasy VI as being open world. I guess because there or something like that because there aren't like the side tasks going on, even though you can explore pretty much anywhere whenever you want as soon as you get to the airship and boats.
Yeah, I mean, like early Dragon Quest games were technically open world. Like you could just,
Right.
walk around. And that's the thing is like Dragon Quest 3, right? The remake just came out. So I'll use that as an example. Like that one, once you get to a certain part in that game, the world opens up, you're going around collecting orbs, and I mean you can just go wherever you want, really. I
Yeah.
mean it's kind of like but there's like objectives, right? And
Right.
DQ11 kind of had that with orbs too, but it felt more guided, I
Hmm.
think, than 3 does, especially like original threes. Um, where it's like those kind of like open world games don't bother me either. And I think it really does come down to just like the amount of busy work in it. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to like I get burned out with open world games when it's like when it goes kind of like with FF7 Rebirth or like Hogwarts Legacy
Yeah.
or Assassin's Creed games that are open world where it's like you find this, you interact with this, there's like there's pages to find and there's a statue and you have to find there's 150 of these statues hidden out here and you just have to interact with them or there's like
Yep.
60 of these puzzles to find. And it's like I guess if you want more bang for your buck, it's kind of like, okay, you can really
Yeah.
sink a lot of time into those games trying to complete them. And I fully understand the appeal. My concern is that it would make Dragon Quest 12 feel unnecessarily bloated.
Yep.
And like 11, OG 11 had the crossbow mini game,
Yeah.
RIP, that I thought was really fun. That was just, it kind of
Yep.
existed all over the world and you had to get a little bit at a time. But like I thought that was a really fun mini game. I'm forever going to rant about it was dumb that they removed it from
Yep.
the 11S version, especially now that like 11S is like the only
The only
like
one you can
easily
really.
accessible version of it.
Yep.
Um, because I was like, you know what, I really like that little crossbow mini
Yep.
game and looking for targets and stuff. Like I thought that was a cool addition. I have no clue why they took it out. Like that was
Yeah,
just
I have yet to see anything about years later. I've yet to see anything saying why that part got taken out because it was already there.
it was just like it was already there, but like it wasn't buggy to my knowledge. Like
Not
I didn't see any reason for removing it.
mm-mm. No, when I was playing through the original 11, I never noticed it never crashed my game or did anything. Maybe I was lucky if that was the case and it did, but yeah, I have no idea why it was gone, why it got taken out. But yeah, that's the kind of thing
Yeah,
out in the world that I don't mind, like slime, the gold slime hunts in 8, something
that's a
like
good one.
that that
Yeah, I
that
like
I
that one.
can do like tasks, but not where I feel like I'm have to do this in order to complete it or anything like that. I just don't like the Koroks. The Koroks are there's too many of them in
Oh
Breath of the
yeah,
Wild. There are just
for
too
sure.
many.
Yeah. And I really think it was probably Tears of the Kingdom when I finally realized just how kind of burned out on open world games I'd been.
Yeah.
Because like I did everything in Breath of the Wild, right? Like that's
Yeah.
not even like I mean it's a Switch game. You don't get trophies. I just did it because I really liked Breath of
Yeah.
the Wild, finding all the outfits and doing all the shrines and everything. And then eventually I stopped with the Koroks in Breath of the Wild because I was like, oh man, this is like too many to find. And I looked up to see what the reward was. And when I saw what the reward was, I was like, that's not like
Wasn't
even
it like
worth it.
just a bad outfit?
No,
Like
it's a little golden poo.
I apparently did do not remember that. Nope, I don't remember the tiny golden poo.
Yeah. And um so I was just like, you know what? I get maybe wanting that for like bragging rights, but
Yeah.
it's like at so, it's like what do? You get that, you take a picture of it, you share it on Twitter, you
Yep.
post it on Discord with your friends, or like, look what I got. And
Yep.
people are like, yay at the moment, and then it's just gone, and you realize you spent like 300 hours looking for like Korok seeds or whatever.
Yep.
And I just I don't know, it wasn't for me.
I just don't have that in me anymore.
And with Tears of the Kingdom, that's where I think it really hit me just how burned out I was because I didn't do nearly the amount of like I probably didn't do half of the stuff that you can do in Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh wow.
Like Like I stopped caring about outfits after a while. I got really tired of being in the dark underground
Hmm.
stuff, looking around for outfits and things. And I just like I don't know. That was when it kind of started for me. And then FF7 Rebirth
Yeah.
felt the way about that one. Um, when Star Wars Outlaws came out,
Yeah.
when Star Wars Outlaws came out, like that was the one where I was actually excited for Outlaws, and I was like, cool,
Yeah.
this is I was gonna have to play it for work anyway, and I was excited for it, and I was like, I'm gonna give it a shot. I had fun with it, but still, it was like even early on, it was like I don't really want to do all this stuff,
Yep.
and so and there is like a main story that you can just get through in that game.
Right. You don't have to do all of the side stuff, but
Yeah. And so that's my biggest kind of concern with if Dragon Quest 12 is. And I think that Dragon Quest 12 can get away with a certain amount of open worldness because we've had open world Dragon Quest games before. Technically speaking, open world Dragon Quest games have
right.
existed. I mean, you get a ship and even the first game, I mean, you can basically
You
just
can
go
go wherever
anywhere.
you want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just leave the castle and you start walking and
And
it's
you
like
die.
go anywhere and die a lot. Yeah. And the same thing and so it's kind of like I think Dragon Quest can get away with it a little bit there, but FF16 is
Hmm.
another game we haven't really talked about, but like I thought that one did a pretty
Thought it was great.
solid job of there's some linear portions for
Hmm.
sure, but there's also some like more open areas and you can,
Yeah.
you teleport around and do side quests and things like that. Like that was a good level of like open worldness to
Yeah,
me.
those are the kind of zones that I like to explore. I had a really good time with Final Fantasy 16 because I could go to these different areas, pick what I wanted to do, and then continue the story through certain linear areas, whatever, and not worry about, if I've left 100 side quests with exclamation points on the mini map or something. That I felt that it was good. Like I felt that was the right level of extra content, side content. And I think that's what does it for me is that it's side content that never feels open world stuff to me. That's exactly what it is. Open world stuff to me feels like there's side content that is meaningless, that it is there as busy work. And if it matters and there's actual narrative to it, then I'll most likely do it. But I get frustrated and angry if it doesn't seem to progress anything other than a number on a counter somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I think
And I'm hoping that DQ12 is like that, is like Final Fantasy 16 in that there are side quests and big areas that you can go through, but not like Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild.
yeah, my thing with Dragon Quest 12 being open world too, though, is like I hope it does not come at the cost of towns
Mm,
because Dragon Quest games do towns really, really well.
so
Like
well.
like every town kind of has like a theme and like the NPCs inside the town will tell you
Yep.
like little backstories or there'll be like a running gag or whatever. Where Dragon Quest does a really good job with towns and open world games like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom to a certain extent like comes at the expense of towns because you just have like little settlements or
Right.
whatever. Um, the biggest one I think for me that really took the blow was when Pokemon moved to open worldness. You have
Mm,
Scarlet and Violet, and it's like there's kind of sort of towns, but it's like because of the way they're supposed to be out in the wilderness, they don't really feel all that unique,
oh,
really. And you just have the little like kiosks out in the wild where you can go and like heal your Pokemon. And yes, it's not as annoying as having to like walk through a town and find a Pokemon Center and all that stuff, but it feels like something gets lost there.
right.
When Pokemon went open world. And even Legends Arceus, which was like semi-open world with its regions, it was
Yeah.
like you only had Jubilife Village there. You had like the camp, but it wasn't like you were
Hmm.
going to see new towns. And so that's kind of another concern I have is that Dragon Quest, if it goes open world, I don't want it to be at the expense of the towns.
Right.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I know we've talked about that one a lot, but that one I thought did an overall decent job of not
Hmm.
sacrificing its towns for like the open worldness of it. Whereas
Yeah,
like you still had sections where you had to be in a town and it still felt like
like
the
it was a
the original
personality to the town. There was a personality there.
right. But I think part of that is that Dragon Quest is that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, even though it's called open world, it's really segmented. Like there's massive sections on that
Yeah.
map. And it's like, yeah, I guess you could technically walk through the tunnels between this massive section to the next massive section. But it's like, it's technically segmented in like, what, three, four, five, I guess?
I don't know. I
Like
gave up.
big, massive areas. And so, and so it's like that, I think helps it a little bit is that it can have like, okay, you have two big towns in this massive zone. Over here, you have this one huge town in this massive zone.
Yeah.
And it kind of, the story just naturally allows for that. And so there are some, like I think FF7 Rebirth handled the town balance well.
Yeah, I
I
can
think
see that.
I think Pokemon did not. And so I don't want Dragon Quest 12 to fall victim to that.
Yeah, and I'm hoping it doesn't because, that is one of the things I like the most about DQ is going into a new town and figuring out why it's so weird. That there's
Yep.
always something weird about it, and I want to figure out what the weird quirk is about those towns.
Or like what the joke is. Like
Yeah.
we did years ago, we did the DQ9 deep dives and we were
Uh-huh.
talking about Zare rocks.
Yep.
And then like at some point after those episodes, Platy was like, it's a pun because of Xerox.
Yep.
And it was like you and I talked about it forever and didn't even get that. And the second he said that, we were both like, oh my
Oh
gosh, that is
yeah.
like such a good joke.
Yep.
That is like
And
such a great pun. And that's also the town with like the stone copies of
the
people,
stone
right?
copies, yeah, that was the
And
one.
so it's just like there's layers to it and it's so good. And it's like I want Dragon Quest games to keep having that even if they're open world.
Yep.
And I think the problem you run into is that those towns are like when people go to design open world games, towns almost seem contradictory to that
Mm.
because they're kind of closed off
Yeah.
and you can go a route like Oblivion where you walk into a town and it's sectioned off and you have to go to a loading screen temporarily to go into a town or you just kind of do away with them really altogether like
Mm.
you do like in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet or what have you. And so I I need my towns, BJ.
I see that. I see that you're a townie, and
They're
I
so good in Dragon Quest games. That's
like
like
like they are. That is where so much of the personality comes from, and you're in a lot of the interaction where the memorable things often come from the towns.
and they each have a story. Like
Hmm.
like like we talked about like FF7 remake last week, and it's like FF7 has some really good towns, and we did an episode on why we love Dragon Quest. And I don't even
Hmm.
think I brought up
I
towns,
don't think you
but I
did.
mean, but that is a reason for it is because of like the layers that
Yep.
towns seem to have across like puns and the jokes to like the weirdness thing about it. Like maybe the mayor is secretly eating kids, or maybe there's a painting that is like
Yep.
haunted, or maybe there's just like maybe there's rocks that are copies of people,
Yeah.
and like it's just kind of like there's they do a really good job in Dragon Quest games of making that feel unique, and because open worlds bleed into each other so well, sometimes it can feel a little too samey
Oh
because
yeah.
it's like by the time you get there, it's like it was because it's open world, it's like by the time you get there, it feels part of the same world anyway. I mean, it's by
Hmm.
design, but it's like you
Yeah.
go from a beach to a snowy world. Well, if you just walked there
Yeah.
at any given time, you don't notice it as much as if it's like segmented off really well.
It's true. I can definitely see that. I see where your point.
Like going from like Besaid to like Mount was it Gagazet
Gagazette.
in
Yeah.
in FF10. Like those feel very very different, but those had just been like placed on like an open world map.
Yeah.
Like I don't know that that doesn't feel as different to me than like in Scarlet and Violet. I can't remember the
Mm.
town names right now, but going from like kind of the starting coastal area to like the first like up in the snowy mountains area, like
Yeah.
because you just walked there and got to see the changes
Right.
progress, It just didn't feel as separate and disparate.
I get that.
So, I know I talked just a ton right now. Was there anything you wanted to add to
No, I think that pretty
that?
much covers that. That actually pretty much covers what I how I feel about it. That also probably the last thing is that one of the reasons that I don't tend to go for open world RPGs and games is because I like MMOs so much, and I feel like if I'm doing this all alone, it has less of a point than if I have fun doing it with friends, exploring and doing things online with a big open world and persistent world than I do in single player games. So that's
So if
another thing.
so if DQ12 had like that component where you could like play, even if it's just like one other person or like up to
Yeah,
three other people in like your world,
it would
you'd be
feel
on board with it.
a lot. I'd be a lot better with it. Yeah,
Just like DQ9 a little bit.
kinda. Yeah, where if you could like just hop on and do dungeons with somebody, I feel
Yeah.
like exploring the world would be better with a buddy.
We should save that for a Dragon Quest 12 multiplayer co-op
That
episode
would be
sometime in the
awesome.
future.
Yep, we'll do that
Um,
sometime.
not next week. But anyway, yeah. So you guys let us know what you think about this idea of an open world Dragon Quest 12. A lot of people have already shared their thoughts with us already. But if you haven't, and even if you have, tell us again. Like I'm interested in just seeing if we can get like a general consensus for
Yeah,
people between like Spotify comments and like Twitter, Blue Sky. We're there at Dragon Quest FM, by the way. Um, or just like here on YouTube if you're watching this video on YouTube. Also hit the subscribe button, please. I always
true,
forget that part of it. Um, but comment and let us know what you think.
for sure.
If you want to talk to me personally, I'm over on Blue Sky and Twitter at Dragon Quasta.
And I'm over on Blue Sky as at bjkgames.com, Twitter at bjkgames, and occasionally on Instagram as Geek to Geek Media now. I deleted my other account. So, but you can also support the podcast at patreon.com/DragonQuestFM if you would like to join the community and get weekly mini-sodes that Austin and I do there. So, yeah, support the podcast and we'll see you later. Like and subscribe.
Thanks, everybody. See you
Bye,
next week.
everybody.